Glad to have you join me. Glad to have you join me on the show again. It's Business Breakfast on iBrand Television. Let's get talking now. Our conversation segment of the program. The constant rise in inflationary pressures has plunged many Nigerians into financial crisis, increasing their cost of living and worsening their livelihoods. This surge in the cost of food items and other consumables not only affects the buying power of households, but it has also reduced the sales of foodstuff in the market. According to the latest report by the National Bureau of Statistics, Nigeria's food inflation has continued to soar, making thousands of households wallow in unprecedented hunger. As of December 2022, Nigeria's food inflation rate was 23.75%, rising from 32.84% in November last year to 33.93% in December. The rise in food inflation on a year-on-year basis was caused by increases in prices of oil and fat, bread and cereal, potatoes, yam and other tubers, fish, fruit, meat, vegetables, milk, cheese and eggs. Now, according to the NBS, To discuss more on this and many other burning economic issues, I am now being joined live by a farmer who is also the Chief Executive Officer of Pongo Farm, Mr. Remy Bukola. Mr. Remy, good morning. It's a pleasure to have you join me on the program. It's safe to say Happy New Year. This is the first time I'm having you join me on the program in the new year.
Happy New Year.
It's good to have you join me on the program. Let's get talking. Before we dive down into food inflation and the fundamentals surrounding them, I'd like to get your view on this projection made by the CBN that inflation rate that the Apex Bank under the Monetary Policy Committee is working towards reducing current inflation rate from 28.92% to 21.4% in the year 2024. That's the target it has given itself. Now, looking at the current macroeconomic indices that we're having in the country right now, which are not being abated, do you think that the Apex Bank has what it takes to reduce inflation to that particular point?
Not totally, because the inflation itself is not only on the side of the government alone. It's also the people are also involved. You know, the migration of people from the north to the south. People are supposed to be farming, and the insecurity in the north and some other parts of the country. If they can cope that, I'm sure if CBN will not be able to do that. You know, they probably have to, their projection, maybe they are looking at so many other things. But whether they have a control of so many other things is another thing. Then the awareness of the youth to go back to the farm. You know, are they in control of that? You know, would they be able to do that? Then again, it's about the promised salary increase is getting to is more than 6 months now. Would they be able to do that? You know, so that the purchasing power of people can be increased. You know, don't forget that this inflation that we are talking about is both ways.
Okay.
Both ways in the sense that reducing purchasing power of the people, then increase the cost of production. So increase the cost of production if they can handle that one. Purchasing power of the people, if they can lift it up, you know. So those are the two things that not only the two things, but one major thing that contribute to the inflation that we are talking about.
All right. So when we talk about inflation in the country, one of the major drivers of inflation, you will agree with me, is food inflation.
Yes.
Okay. And with what we are seeing right now, the prices of food commodities in the market keep skyrocketing.
Yes.
And also making inflation continue to also go up.
Yes.
Now let's come down to the farm now.
Yes.
It's a new year. What would you say is going on, or what activities are going on in the farm at the moment?
At the moment, you see, like I said earlier, the cost of production is on the high side, and for more than 1 year now, it has been increasing. The same thing you talk about, the purchasing power of people is low. It's low. You know what I'm saying? You probably have to spend all your money or consumables.
Yeah, before you can even eat
Well,
and survive.
survive. So what are we talking about? You know, for us to really be able to bring those things down, the food contributed to it. How
Yes.
many people are buying electronics? How many people are buying into all those things again? Yes, we have, but the point is that there are very few. But one thing is very important that we have to know is that what food is major.
Yes.
Food is major. You know, part of what led to and still contributing to food inflation, the part of food, is the transportation. As at this new year, the cost of average cow has increased by another 20 or 30%.
That's serious.
And we are talking about protein. Since the beginning of this year, the food for chicken have been constantly increasing twice or at least once every week. So what are we talking about? And the major contribution to the food of chicken is corn. The price of corn is always on the high side. Transportation is on the high side. If you take a trailer from the north to the south, it used to be less than 1 million. But today it's now about 1.5, 1.6 billion. So what are we talking about?
I understand that the removal of your subsidy by the president when he assumed office 2023 in May actually caused a kind of ripple effect across the economy, and everyone has felt it, everyone is feeling it,
Yes.
and we are yet to come out of it.
Yes.
Now, I want to ask you this question now. On the part of government,
Yes.
what do you think should be the role they are playing to help curtail all of these excesses that are contributing to the rising cost of food commodities in the market? Also, if you look at the Ministry of Agriculture as well, what do you think that particular ministry should be doing or is not really doing to drive growth in the ecosystem?
It should be ready to fund the farmers. Then it should be able to target those products that can contribute or that is already contributing to the inflation. What I mean is that what? I said something about chicken food. It's 60 to 70% corn. If you can concentrate on the corn area for the chicken, they'll probably achieve something. Okay. You are talking about rice, which is staple food of an average Nigerian. You understand what I'm saying? They might probably do something. You understand what I'm saying? So they should be ready to fund the farmers. In terms of the protein area, you understand? They should be ready to fund the farmers in those areas. You understand? And if fuel is not coming from another source, a cheaper one, you probably have to really make do with what? Fund the farmers, ensure that what the farmers have something to produce.
When you talk about funding the farmers, you agree with me that the former CBN governor and person of Godwin Emefiele through the Anchors Borrowers Program he initiated during his leadership at the Apex Bank actually did not go down well. We see farmers who collected this loan and did not even reverse this loan. They could not pay back. Now, if government keep funding the farmers and they were not seeing the impact of these funds on the agricultural exports, what better way do you think the federal government and also the central bank have to go about supporting the farmers as well?
I think they should look at the process, the way they were being funded. We have share farmers too. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So they should look at that. If they look at that and be able to scrutinize that, somebody that has not been in the farm for the past 10 years, all of a sudden there is a loan or bank loan coming, you probably have something to you probably put a process in place. But they should look at the process. They should look at how farmers are being funded, and they should directly engage those people that are on the field, rather than those people, those pen farmers. You know what I'm saying? And that's very key. That's very key, or probably look for a way of, look, okay, yeah, you produce. When you produce, whatever you produce, let's buy it off you. I will pay you back. You know what I'm saying? That's another way of funding. You know what I'm saying? Rather than look for loan, give to these people. One thing that is very important in farming, once there is a marketing outlet, a very good one, solid one for farmers, you know what I'm saying? You might probably not really need a lot of funding. You know what I'm saying? Because if I see an avenue that, look, once my product I get to a maturity stage and I sell off and I get my money in bulk, you know what I'm saying? And I can use it to do one thing or the other, I probably will increase my production. You understand? So it's very important that outlet, and that way you find out that what this something can work. If the government buy at 1,000,
yes,
and they give it out at 800 or whatever, you find out that what everybody will benefit. Rather than give money to a certain people who one way or the other just show you the land, show you a bit of cultivation, and after that cultivation disappear. Are you not aware of those people that did all these farm products thing? A lot of them went away with the money of the old people. That's to tell you what an average Nigerian can do. You know what I'm saying? Because they are not farmers. They are business,
investors.
Investors. You know what I'm saying? So the government has to start looking at that, rather than look for somebody, just give money to them. Or somebody that has nothing to do with it.
But beyond the government now, I know that agriculture is a very serious sector that even private players are also looking into. The banks now are also giving out loan. I know of a lot of banks that are coming up with products and schemes to ensure that they support farmers and those in the agribusiness space. So if we are to bring in the private sector now, because the truth is the private sector play a critical role to the development of the economy. If we are to bring in the private sector into the picture of funding now, in what way, what measures do you think they have to go about it to ensure that the right farmers, like you rightly said, get the funds, and how do they help them get to that maturity level whereby they can utilize it and then it will have a good and investment on their business?
Well, definitely, the private one they are better monitors than the government.
All right.
You know what I'm saying? As a monitor, you won't disburse your money all at once. Like for example now, let me give you production cassava. Plowing the land. You know what I'm saying? There's a certain amount of money you can disburse to do that. Once you ensure that you do that, you know what I'm saying? The planting of cassava and all that kind of thing. That's one. That's part one. Yeah. When you go to part two, you probably need some weeding. Maybe that will be about 1 or 2 months. You disburse money. Part three, when they are like about 4 or 5 months, you need to weed them again. You weed, and you won't do any weeding until harvest. So by the time you want to harvest, you need another disbursement. That's part 4. And you harvest. Then you can go to production. So you can monitor at every stage. So you know what you are going to spend at the start, middle, second line, third line, fourth line. You know what I'm saying? So by the time you are doing your harvest, you have to be there also. You monitor it. And once you monitor it, you get your result and you take it to the market and you sell. So at the end of the day, you and the farmers will agree. Look, I'm giving you 15 million. This 50 million, I'm expecting 70 million. Or probably if I'm expecting 7 million, okay, fine. Which means that by the time you calculate all the stages together, they're about 50 million. Right? That's what I mean. Then by the time you harvest, you have 70 million. You and the farmers can agree. This excess of 20 million, what do we do with it? Share it. In what ratio? You find out that what, and then you look, you go, you start again. So what I'm trying to say is that what, every stage of farming you can disburse. You won't disburse outright. Say somebody wants to use 50 million to plant something and disburse you 50 million. You have exposed the person to use the money anyhow. You understand what I'm saying? It's just like you're giving your mechanic money on Saturday evening to repair your vehicle on Tuesday. You know what I'm saying? You've given him your part of the money is
Given
for
liberty to squander the money even before it gets the car fixed.
yes.
Yeah.
So that's it. So for you, as if you want to fund farmers, you know what I'm saying, you fund it for them in stages.
Yes.
And at every stage, you want to see the result. You know what I'm saying? Because if at the first stage you expect something to grow to reach a height of about 2 meters of a meter, and still is struggling to even reach half of a meter, you know what I'm saying? You know that there's problem in the soil, and you also know that what the result at the end of the day might not be too good. So you can really mitigate or stop, all the process. The earlier the better. So you for your fertile land. You understand what I'm saying? So these are the things that a private investor, as a government, you find out that what you just go and sleep.
All right, now let's talk about the rising cost of food commodities in the country. I'm going to start off with the staples. I'll start off first with rice. Despite the fact that Nigeria is an import-dependent country, I'm still surprised that with our ability to produce and manufacture rice in country, we're still importing rice and we're still smuggling rice again into the country. There was a time we had the Kirby Lagos partnership where that came up with Lake Rice, and we found out that despite though the project has rested for reasons I don't know, why are we still struggling? Why are we still struggling to ensure that this particular commodity that is widely used in the country, we don't have enough production of it in country? What do you think could be responsible for that?
To me personally, I think government like to celebrate foundation of the project than
the continuation of the project. Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Because
we have the Malta rice mill in Lagos.
Yes, but it will be at the end. The rice mill will work on the harvested rice. You know that, not on the production. You see, one thing is also showing that you see, yes, we have all these arrangements, but we're not working so much on security. You know what I'm saying? Making the whole place secured. Because most of those people that work in those areas, you know what I'm saying? Some of them are in the IDP camp. You know what I'm saying? We are not working on that aspect of life of people. You know what I'm saying? It's not about saying that what we will be able to produce, that. You know what I'm saying? But it's also very important for us to work on that area. Then about two is that most of those areas, you find out that what, even for you to even harvest some of your products, there are some local bandits that will say that what you have to pay tax before you even
go to the farm.
Go to the farm.
Yeah.
So you find out that those are the things that are happening, and then you find out that at the same time, government will release funds, government will make life difficult on the other hand. For example, this what they call it. Fresh subsidy. You know what I'm saying? It's another thing. The cost of transportation is on the high side. You know what I'm saying? Then not to talk about the labor itself. It's on the high side. Before in Lagos, you find out that if you want to cultivate an acre of land, you probably need about 15,000, mass 20,000. But as of today, you pay like about 35,000. You know what I'm saying? To even plow an acre of land. You know what I'm saying? Not to talk about, and that's aside the fact that you have to give them food, you have to provide accommodation for them if need be, and those are the things, sometimes you have to really, take care of some other things so that they can get your work done for you. Those things are very, very important. If government is not ready to really take care of their own aspect of security and own aspect of transportation, because all these things are around agriculture. You know what I'm saying? And even when it talks about the manure, the fertilizer, they're also around agriculture. So it's not about funding alone. It's about making life conducive for the farmers.
So we are seeing that the Dangote refinery is coming upstream. We've seen the likes of Ipman, seen the likes of Moman and other partners also coming to meet with Dangote and saying that we want you guys to sell petrol to us, and we also want to start supplying petrol across the country. If we have petrol, if we have these guys buying petrol from Dangote and they don't have to ship petrol into the country, which has to go through the process, the ridiculous process of exchange rate and all of that. I want to get your thoughts on this. With that in any way. Now, let's look at it from this point of view now. Let's look at the ripple effect now. So if we're going to get petrol in the country from Dangote refinery and we have the price of petrol reduced, okay, perhaps to what it used to be or something more relative that Nigerians can afford. If it brings down the price of transportation in the country, would that have any change on the pricing of food commodities as they are now? Because in Nigeria, it is always a situation whereby when the price of a particular commodity is up, it remains up and never comes down. How do you react to this?
But it's not impossible, because one thing I'll be sure is availability.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? We won't be talking about scarcity again. You understand? And if all of that refineries now join Dangote, and that would be good.
Perfect.
You know, perfect for the country. And yes, if the price drop, we might probably have. I think one of the ways that the government can force, that can make people, especially the transporter, to go down a bit, is for us government to provide an alternative. The alternative will probably really make the transporter to reduce their prices, their cost. Yeah. Another thing that is also very important that I want us to know is that it's not only about fueling alone. Okay. It's also has something to do with the parts of the vehicle. You know, if you are not producing those parts of the vehicle, they are very expensive. If you want to buy spare parts, they are very, very expensive. Tires now, even if you say you are using Tokumbo tires, there are some tires that cost 20 something Tokumbo tires, and if you say you want to buy new, you might probably spending about 40,000. Okay. You know, that is also very important. And we pay so much, and the farmers pay so much on security. What I mean by security is that if you go to Agbowa today, and let's say Agbowa or beyond Agbowa, and you're coming to Ikorodu or to Lagos, you probably have to pay at every point to the police, the security people. You know what I'm saying? If you don't pay, your vehicle will just be there, you know, for hours. You know what I'm saying? So those things are very, there are so many things that make that cost, that make that thing to be expensive. You know what I'm saying? And then you have to add this. You know, you have labor cost, you have, if you allow me, I can use, say, security cost from one place to another. In fact, more than ever before, you will see policemen, so many of them along the road. Then you see local council people. You know, they want to take money, they want to take money, they want to take money, So
you are a farmer. Tell us what has the challenge been so far, and how you've been able to meet up despite the challenges.
Well, the challenge is one of those things that was marketing, because you have a situation whereby even people in the office, they want to cut corners. You know what I'm saying? In terms of, look, when you are being a provider of that same good for a particular people, you see internal people look, we have to take something out of it. Then number two, labor. You know, you have labor costs is on the high side. Before, we normally, like I told you, we normally pay like about 15 to 20 to till the farm. But right now you pay like about 35, wow, sometimes 40, depending on the area. You also have, you know, we need irrigation. You know, we shouldn't be talking about seasonal production of a particular, you know what I'm saying? The soil is fertile. All the soil needs is what? Is water. You know what I'm saying? I know you can't produce water, but you can channel the water to appropriate area. Then again, you also need cooperation between the farmers and the villagers.
Okay.
They are very important. Then the road itself, which is government is for the government to do. Look at Lagos, you find out that every rural point in Lagos, they have bad roads to transport goods to the market. Something like Ugu or something. Ugu is not, most of the Ugus we eat in Lagos, they are from Lagos.
Why the price of Ugu now still going up? Ugu now sells for 200 naira, even though it's coming from the farm in Lagos.
Yes, they are up. I told you about roads. I told you about police. I told you about local government. All those people collect money from them. Not to talk about transportation, not to talk about the fuel, not to talk about. If you can't say you move from Agboa to Ikorodu, you spend more than 2 hours. Because they will stop you, and then most of the time you find out that all those trucks, they move in the night. To avoid all these issues.
So we need to go now. So much to talk about, but time is really not our friend. Definitely we're still going to have you again as we look at some of the other teething issues in the agricultural sector. I'd like to say a big thank you to you. I've been speaking with the farmer and also Chief Executive Officer of Pongo Farm, Mr. Remy Popola. Thank you so much for your time.
No problem, sir.
And once again, Happy New Year.
Same to you.
All right.